Hi guys, yes, I'm still around. I know it's been 2 weeks since I put out a video, and this isn't really going to be much of a video. I just want to show you what's coming up. I've been extremely busy trying to get my leaves picked up, and my father-in-law, he has the 10 acres next to mine, and I would say I think it's close to 5 acres of grass and a lot of oak trees. So we've been working over there for probably the last 2 weeks sucking up leaves. He's using his Ingersoll garden tractor and I'm using his snapper that I got him a couple years ago. And when it gets dark, he likes to quit. Me, I work to 8, 9 o'clock because I got headlight. And so does his machine. But I want to take you up to the garage and show you what our next project is going to be. And then we're going to take a little break and I'm going to bring the camera down to shop where I work and I'll show you what the second and third project is going to be. So let me grab my coat and we'll run up to the garage and take a look at our next victim. Now, I was told about this machine from a viewer, and he's seen it on Craigslist and said, it's too far for me to drive, Jim, check this out. So I looked at it and I called the guy. It was at a dealership and he says, yeah, that's what it is. It's a 33-inch 17 horse snapper classic style frame, and it has a clamshell bagger on the back that I've only seen in pictures and always wanted to get my hands on one. Now the rear end went out in it, something the guy doesn't know. He says the problem is as much issues he's hearing about Briggs and Stratton and their bankruptcy, and he told the guy that owned it, I wouldn't even fix it because 3-4 years down the road when something else happens, I'm not going to be able to get parts for it. So he says, you might as well just, get rid of it. So I don't know what the conversation was between them two, but basically he sold it for scrap price. I mean, I couldn't pass it up. I figured if nothing else, I'll strip it and sell parts. But after I got this thing and I seen the shape it's in, there's no way I'm going to strip this for parts. We're going to bring it in here and figure out what's wrong with it and rebuild it and sell it. And it will be sold with the clamshell on it. I have to take some stuff off it because, well, first it was my hip giving me problems, now it's my shoulder. I think it's just time to retire. But I'm going to take the mower deck off up front. I'm going to take the bagger off. I'm going to take the engine off. Engine runs great. And the front of the machine has a big, thick stack of 1/4-inch thick steel plates that gives the front end some ballast, so when that big clamshell is full, the front end don't come up off the ground. So them I'm going to take off. Basically, I want to get a lot of weight off this thing so I get it out here, I can stand it up. So let's go up front or up in the garage and take a look at this thing because it is nice. Hang on. Okay, I'm using the other camera so I can see what you're seeing, and this is it. Like I said, it is a 33-inch high vac machine. It has the anti-scalp wheels on it. It has all of the hubcaps. It has a new battery. And the seat will be replaced. I can't sell it with that ugly seat on there. It has a 17 horse Intech engine, which I'm not nuts about the Intechs. I wish it was a power built. And I don't know if you can see the date. It's upside down. It's a 2006 model. This is just the way he ordered it, and it does have the clamshell. Take you around the back side of this thing. I guess I need a little more room. And the nice part about these is you don't get off the machine. You're setting on the machine, you just grab this handle and it opens up the shell and everything falls out the bottom. And it locks shut. So that will be our next project. Like I said, oh, this is a weight that's on the front of it. Now, if you can see how big them are, I don't know what they weigh. There's 8 of them bolted on there. So them will have to come off. The mower deck will have to come off. The bagger will have to come off. And that engine, I don't know what that weighs. And I'll probably take the battery out of it. And then I'll get it in the building and we'll get it up on a platform and see what's really wrong with it. It rolls, so it's not locked up. I'm guessing maybe it's a chain or a gear. So let's go back out in the shop where it's a little bit warmer. Okay, the next part of this video I'll be doing at work to show you the second and third project that we're going to be doing here. And as you can see, I'm trying, but I do have room over here now, and you can see the bench, and you can actually, I spin you around, you can see the top of the table saw almost. And look at this, you can see this bench too. So I'm working on this. As soon as I get a big enough hole, I'm going to get that machine out here and get it tore apart, and we're going to see what's wrong with it. Hopefully, maybe that'll be this week. I'm kind of lost here. Let me look. Today is the 28th of November. So hopefully next week, we'll see if we can get this thing in here and get it tore apart. I got a couple jobs I need my table saw for, so I'm trying to dig that out. But until tomorrow, hang on, and I'll be right back. So long. Okay, I'm in my little maintenance area at work. And I want to give you a little background on this machine I bought. The ad said, I think it needs an engine. And I asked him, does it come with a bagger? And if so, is it a single or a double bagger? And he said it's a double bag. I said, well, good, I need one of those. So I drove up to Whitehall, which is probably an hour and a half away. And I got looking at it, and I didn't notice the bagger right away. He had it on the other side of the driveway. And I got done looking at the machine, and it had a few issues. And I turned around and looked across the driveway, and there's the bagger leaning up against a tree. And I said, wait a minute, that's a single bagger. He says, yeah, but it's double wide. Whatever that means, I have no clue. So it's not the bagger I wanted. He loaded that in the back of my truck. I didn't really get a look at it. Now, if you have one of these baggers, or if you ever bought a used one, typically the outside corner that sticks out is pretty well beat up from trees. People try to get too close on the right side to a tree and the bagger hits. This one is extremely beat up. The bag itself has a lot of holes in it and rips, and that's pretty much useless. The deck adapter that goes onto the mower deck that comes up for the tube, the seam is ripping loose, and that's about half of the distance it's broke loose. Now, it'd probably be okay because the tube goes over that. The tube itself must have fallen loose on him without him knowing it. I don't know where the leaves were going, but it must have laid on a muffler because I have a slot about 8 inches long and a good inch wide that melted right through the tube. So the tube is useless. The deck adapter is probably junk. The bagger's junk. The bag is junk. About the only thing I'm going to keep from the bagger is the frame for the bag and the frame for the bagger itself, because that's the newer style that'll fit on either the straight bumpers or the U-shaped bumper. So the bag, might as well say it didn't come with a bagger. Now I got the machine behind me, and I got the other item behind me that is going to be in my shop to build into something. It's going to be for the wood shop. So it's interesting. So don't let your chin hit the floor when you first see it. At least until I tell you what my plans are for it. So let me flip this camera around, because right now I can't see what you're going to be looking at unless I use the other camera. Okay, here's the machine. As you can tell by looking at the two tires, something happened to the tie rods. It does have the weights on the front for the bagger, which I've never had before. If you look at the steering shaft, he's bent that by trying to move the machine by pulling on the handlebars. I'm guessing it's somewhere around a 2005 because of the two-piece handle to engage the deck with. The seat is real nice. It's got the oversized gas tank. The engine's been replaced. I don't know who put the engine on, but isn't this nice? You can't pull the rope because it hits the gas tank. It is a 13.5 horse engine. And he told me when I looked at it, if we look down here, it's a 2010 engine. He said, I think it needs a new engine, it won't start. Well, you should have known that, what was wrong with it, because if you look real close, and get the flashlight on there, the post out of it, you see the hole in the block? Yeah, it definitely needs a new engine. So I will pull the engine off and strip it for parts. So there'll be a lot of parts coming off this thing for sale if anybody's interested. And let me get you the model number. If you can, yeah, you can make that out. The type number and the code number. If you're interested in any engine parts. I haven't really decided if I'm going to strip it for parts or rebuild it. I'm working on that. I'm kind of leaning towards stripping it. The engine definitely will be taken off and stripped down and sold to parts. Now let me show you this other thing that I'm going to be working on. Now this item is going to be for the wood shop, and everybody is looking for industrial stuff for their houses. This might be a little too industrial for most people, but I'm guessing it's from the 60s. It's off a machine that I stripped down and sold for junk, and I kept this control panel. Now, if we open it up, I haven't gutted all the stuff out of it yet. There's a lot of electronics in here. The door I'm going to leave like this. All the stuff I'm going to leave on the door. And these switches above the door. The inside side, I'm thinking right now of putting a small wine refrigerator in the bottom, and then above it probably a pull-out shelf with a stainless steel sink basin in it, and some racks up at the top for your glasses. And the back also has a door. I can spin this around. And that opens up. And once I get that gutted out, I'm thinking of building the back side with a gun cabinet, probably about 8 inches deep. That sounds like it might be an interesting project. Got the wires caught in the door. The back door, I'm going to take the handle off so it will go tight against the wall, and I'm going to mount an electric solenoid inside of it that will be activated by a series of these switches in the right combination to activate the solenoid to open up the back door. The front door will just open with the handle the way it is. That should be interesting. I don't know, maybe that'll be a little bit too I don't know what you'd even call it, industrial for most people, but I think the right person sees that, they might, I don't know, they might want to buy it, who knows. Otherwise, my next idea was just sell it as is and let someone else build it into what they want it to be. It would make an awesome large gun cabinet. And again, you could put a solenoid on the front door to open with a series of switches and just weld the back door shut. I keep seeing something flying around up there, like I've got bugs back here or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just dust blowing around. So, if you're interested in buying that cabinet, let me know. Otherwise, that's the projects I got lined up in the building. And I also have to work on my snapper. The drivetrain is making a funny noise when I push the clutch in and let it out just a little bit. I'm getting some funny grinding, clattering noises. I don't know what it is, but when I find that out, I'll let you know. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and keep on snapping. So long.